on all night. My
Good morning, Mark.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. And yourself?
Good.
Oh, it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Out. Let's get.
The first 10 minutes are the most important.
exactly. Yeah.
Is that what you told me before?
Well, he overslept last time.
Oh. All right. Looks like it's starting time.
Yeah, let's go.
Sunday Fun Day has begun. Today we're going to start at the front parts of our mat, spreading the feet to the widths of the mat and running the parallel of the outside of the feet and mats. As we do that, we're going to bring some straightness to the legs. And as we do that, we're going to begin to engage some of our significant core muscles by taking the belly button and drawing them in towards the spine. And once we've created that activation, we're going to create growth along the spinal column and adding in a little bit of opening for the shoulders. We're going to draw them out, hold them up, and then try to pull them apart from the midline of the body, just like you're drawing open and widening that whole upper body, letting the chest expand. Let's turn so the palms face in towards the body and make a little cupping in the hands, but keep your fingers separated widely. Now, as you inhale, proud the chest, push it through the shoulders and draw the back of the head high to the sky. And as you pull that head upward, also pull it backwards. You can kind of feel the chin pulling in towards the neck, but that's not the activation I want you to achieve. I want you to pull with the back of the head and let the chin just follow along. Now, as you inhale, draw the shoulders up a little higher. And as you exhale, bring the hands and arms forward. So we have that cupping already in place. Now imagine these fingers of yours are going around something like a cantaloupe. So we have that globe-like feeling with the fingertips and thumb tips touching, all hollowed out in the middle. As we extend the arms straight, we're going to create pressure of the fingertips by pushing each hand into each other as we elongate the arms. Nice. Now, chop the hips, draw them backwards. We're going to have a slight forward lean. As you inhale, let the arms raise a little higher. And as you exhale, let's fold down, bringing our fingertips to the top of our mat. Step the feet back into plank. Good morning, everybody. Now, instead of pushing through this and trying to create as much elevation as possible, we're going to let the chest kind of sink into the arms. And as we begin to realize a little bit of expansion through the chest, we're going to pull the hips upward and backward to down dog. Float it back to your plank. Is there a sound problem?
Keep talking.
Oh. Let the chest sink back down and remember to mute everybody. Unless there's a problem, of course, let me know. And then pull the hips upward and backward to down dog. Now in this down dog, we're going to push high onto the tippy toes and then drive the heels heavy to the earth. And then keep the heels driving towards the earth and float back to plank. Feel that nice stretch through those gastroc or calf muscles. Pull the back of the head high to the sky. Pull that belly button up and into the spine. Let the chest now push down through the arms. Pull the hips up and back, down dog. Heels drive earth. Come to the tippy toes. As you drive the heels to the earth, let's step right and left foot forward. All part of our nice warm-up series here. As you inhale, extend to a flat back. As you exhale, keep the back in extension, but draw that booty back to give me weight bearing into the heels. You might notice that there's some tension forming in the hamstrings. And enjoy that nice lengthening. Now on the next breath, as you release it, bend both knees. and bring the palms onto the shins. Try to avoid the internal rotation of the elbows. Have them rotate externally away from the midline as you push the palms to the shin. Give me extension through the spine and give me length through the neck and give me depth by letting those hips sink just a little more. And then from the palms pushing to the shins today, we're going to extend both hands out straight forward and then unhinge, keeping the hips low, revealing more of that upper body of ours to the opposite side of the room. Let's globe the fingers, bring them back together. Push fingertips and thumbs together, arms long. Take the heels of the feet and isometrically activate them by trying to push them away from the midline of the body. As you inhale, raise the arms. As you exhale, stand tall. And allow me to see your pretty little faces as you release the arms down. Draw the shoulders up to the ears. Open the palms to face forward. Keep the shoulders actively working upwards. And as you let the arms sweep backwards. Take a big breath in as you inhale. And as you exhale, bring the hands forward and up to salute the sun. As you release this breath, float it down and step it back to plank. Let's add a hover low in here and then push it back up and then pull the hips up and back to down dog. Tippy toes. Become driven heels. Heels keep that driving force, float back to plank. Push the chest through the arms towards the earth and pull the back of the head simultaneously to the sky. As we bend both knees only to float them above the mat. So we're lowering them down just to intensify some of the length through the lower leg. And then let's bring straightness back into the leg. And then slowly drift upper body backwards. Heels are driving into the earth as you pull your booty up and back to down dog. And step left and right foot forward again. Separating them to the width of the mat this time as we remain folded. Let's turn the big toes in towards the center line and then widen out all of the toes. So you've got width between each. Straighten the leg, extend the spine as you inhale. As you exhale, drift that booty back. See if you can drift back ever so slightly more. On the release of the next breath, bend both knees just a slight bit, just to get a little bend and break in the knees. Let's walk the palms onto the shins. As you push and extend the spine, try to lower the hips just a little bit more now. And as we start to unhinge the hips, let's bring the arms forward, globing the fingers, pushing tips into each other as we elongate the arms. Take your belly button, pull it into the spine. Notice the difference in tension in the low back when those actively used tummy muscles are felt active. Feel the support kind of band around the whole lower body. We want that. Now, as you inhale, raise the arms. And as you exhale, stand tall. Bring the hands all the way up, not behind the head, slightly front. So we just created elevation. Now, depending upon issues that may be going on with your body, most importantly, it's just the activation and elevation of arms until we start to develop what I call tensive reaction. So we are starting to tense through the neck. There's no need to lift the arms that high. We just want a nice activation and length where we can kind of feel the nice lengthening through that lat, left side and right side, without tension in the neck. Now, if you can, as those muscles start to find release and length, you're going to try and take it a little higher if you can. So inhale, come on a little higher. And as you exhale, bend both knees, lower down into a squat-like position. Try to take both feet and pull them in towards the midline of the body. keep those feet pulling in towards the midline of the body. As you stand tall, sweep the arms back up, release, and let them fall. I could just see Kirsten screaming at me in the camera. Now draw the shoulders up to the ears. Open the palms to face forward. Separate your fingers widely. Sweep the arms backwards. Nice. Take a big breath in. Sweep the hands to the sky. Bring hands over heart. Let's straighten out the feet so they have an orientation of front to back and not angled anywhere in particular. As you step the left foot back, it's up under the toes of that foot. Now, muscle specific activation. We're going to try to avoid bending that front knee, and quite opposite actually. We want to lengthen it and draw it backwards. So if I were to draw lines from my ankle and knee, the knee would clearly be behind the ankle from the mat up towards those areas. Now, keeping that, I want to try to find width in the front foot. So we've expanded the toes once again. Just making a very stable type of platform. Similarly on the back foot, we're up on the toes, but we bring some width to them. You feel that nice pull on the bottom of the foot. We're vertical oriented today. So we're going to keep nice and tall. And we're not going to find compression because we're going to use that activation we saw a little earlier by pulling in the belly button. I saw Kirsten try to push me over. Did you see that? Okay. Now, keeping hands over heart. Let's take the back foot, push the heel into the earth slowly, and then push back up onto the toes. And then slowly descend the heel. So this isn't a drop down. This is actively using body weight and muscle tension. And we're kind of working some of our adhesion out through the ankles and bottom of feet as we do this, believe it or not. All right, hold it down, extend the arms out. We're globing the fingers today. As we push and find length in the arm, we find pressure in the fingertips. As you inhale, raise the arms above the head, keeping the arms straight. So imagine the elbows kind of pulling into the center line of the body as the fingertips push into each other. Now we're going to work this lat release by maintaining that fingertip push and finding a little higher elevation if we can. Beautiful. Now, take the heel that's been driving to the earth, come up onto the tippy toes, reach for the sky, and then push the heel back down, actively working that calf and gastroc muscle, the left, pushing high, reaching sky, heel driving earth. And this time we're going to push high, reach for the sky, and we're going to take the left hip. I'm going to push forward on that left hip and rotate the upper body to the right. And then come back center, hands over heart, step the back foot forward. Good morning. How are we doing? Kirsten's leaking, and so am I. All right. Taking that right foot, stepping it back. Same exercise, opposite side. It's kind of exercise stretching. Now, front foot, back foot, toes wide, knee aligned behind ankle on the front, straight leg, almost locked out. Instead of leaning in today, we're vertical. So we're getting nice and long, a little bit of tension over that right hip with hands over heart. Take the right heel, drive it into the earth. As we feel length through that muscle, we feel strength as we push back up. And it's not dropping down and pushing back up. Actively work the range of motion. Feeling that nice tension and release. Down and up. Slowly enjoying it, just like you would a nice bottle of your favorite wine. Oh, it's the death for the ladies. All right, holding up, extending the arms out, globing. You know what to do with the globe. Push the fingertips, take the elbows, spiral them into the center line of the body. Nice. Now, keeping nice and tall.
You're leaning.
I'm leaning forward too. You're going to bring those arms to the sky as we inhale. As you Take the next breath in, see if you can get a little higher with those arms. Again, it's about tension awareness. And if we get tense with the neck, where effort is too high, so you got to back off a little bit. Now, on the next breath, if you can inhale, lengthen a little more, and then right heel drives to the earth, the left heel drives to the sky. Sorry, right heel drives to the sky. We're raising and lowering, keeping that left leg locked, keeping the hands reaching for the sky. We want that length as best you can. Now holding up, reaching a little higher if we can, and take the right hip and push it towards the front of the mat, rotating the upper body to the left, coming back center, bringing hands over heart and stepping the back foot forward. Oh,
my God.
I know, that's such a good opener for the calf. Push the hands to the sky. Oh, it's an activation disaster. Fold halfway down, bring your arms beside the body. A little bit of rest. Now, take your thumbs and palms and rotate the thumbs internally so that the thumbs go towards the ground, and then spiral them all the way up until you feel an effort that's pretty strong to make the palms face back out towards and away from the body. Now, spiral the thumbs back down, and this time we're going to spiral them out so the palms are opening up with the thumbs aiming up at the sky. So if your thumbs are aiming down, you did the exact opposite. But anyways, thumbs aiming up at the sky, stand tall. Feel that nice opening through the chest. Sweep the arms backwards, continuing to add more depth to that opening. Take a big breath in, sweep the hands sky. As you exhale, fold it down all the way down to the ground. Oh, my goodness. Is it nap time? No.
Great time for Sean.
It's time to grab a little water to replace the glow. Nice. All right. So let's extend the legs out and then keep in that staff-like position. Let's broaden out the width of the feet. And I just like to move my little booty around a little bit to get my sit bones. Let's take the toes and pull them in and give me some dorsiflexion in the foot overall. So we have tension in those front leg, lower leg muscles, the shins. That's what you call them, shins? Those are shins? Okay. Mrs. Anatomy over here. Let's bring hands over heart. And as we do so, let's create extension through the spine and then draw the head to the sky. Let's draw the back of the head in or backwards so that the chin kind of pulls in a little bit. Remember, muscle activation, very key here. So if you're pulling the chin in, it's really the wrong muscle activation. We want to pull the back of the head backwards. Now, C-curve the spine. Slowly descend, one vertebrae at a time as best you can. Oh, and this is nap time. I'm kidding. Now, take the right leg, lift it into the sky. Nice and straight. It's right above the hip if you can. Have a little bit of hip flexor activation in that right side. We've shortened that muscle out when we flex that leg. Gonna lower the leg down slowly. Find some length through that hip flexor or hip flexors. And then float the heel of the right foot just above the earth. So we have extended and float on that right leg. And that extension, keep it as you raise the right leg back up. Nice. Now, without the guidance of hands, let's open the leg away from the midline of the body. And then check your environment and make sure you're not going to contact anything or knock over a lamp or anything. And you're going to circle the leg down, lowering it as it comes along till it just floats above the earth. Rotate the toes back up to the sky, and then lift the leg back up and cycle it around again. Elevating the leg one more time through this cycle. should feel a little bit of fatigue, hopefully, a little bit of, oh my goodness, a little bit of burning going on. And if you do, that's awesome. Now take the right leg, let it alight upon the mat. We're going to elevate the left, keep the heel slightly off the earth, keep that leg nice and long, and then we draw up the left leg over the left hip, or our best version of that. Keeping the leg long, let's return slowly, that leg just to its float start position, and then come back up, and then lower back down. And then when we come up, we're going to start circling. So up and circle. Hands-free circling. It's kind of like hands-free dialing on a telephone. What's all that grunting you're doing over there, Kirsten? All right, when we come back around for the third time, we're going to put both heels down. We're going to step them in ever so slightly. I'm going to bring them about hip width apart, and we're going to go into one of my favorite kind of exercises and stretches. As we bring the thighs to touch, the big toes are also invited to that party. Now, let's take your butt and kind of roll it back and forth, and you're going to feel like a bony area on the backside of your body, which is your tailbone. We're going to try to minimize that area being pressurized by taking the belly button and pulling it in towards the spine. Now, if you can, just to feel a little bit of relief of pressure on the tailbone. You may not get that exactly, but that's what you're trying to do. Now, with that deep effort to hollow out the tummy and to actively pull the belly button to the spine, with that not being compromised, I'd like you to push the thighs together. And if you feel trembling, that's a good thing. Trembling is the muscle's reaction to stress. We're working to stress those muscles a little bit. Now, keep that all active, and then bring your arms beside the body and do the globe finger thing and push the fingertips into the earth. But while you do that, keep the hollow out of the belly and then push the chest to the sky. Drive the heels into the earth, try to elevate the tailbone up off your earth, but most importantly, squeeze your thighs. And then lower down, pull the knees up into the chest, forehead up to meet the knees, and rock and roll front to back, extending legs out into staff pose, separating nice and wide. Bringing the hands down, keeping the spine long. We're going to work spinal extension and thoracic or neck extension as we move forward. So we're kind of really hip hinging is what we're really doing here. And you'll feel tension and the corresponding lengthening of the hamstrings. If you feel that tension, that's good. This is what the stretch is for. Now, if you can, step your hands onto the undersides of the feet, and then take the hands and pull the feet in towards the body. So now we've got a big chain of muscle right over from the hips origin, over the knees and into the lower extremities of the leg. As we inhale, extend the spine, keep the spine in extension, and on the next breath in, try to pull the feet a little closer in towards those shins of yours. And then release and float back up to staff pose. Bring hands over heart. How do you like me so far? That's pretty easy. It's just all good stretching stuff. Now, as you inhale, grow long, and as you exhale, slowly begin C-curving each vertebrae of your spine all the way down. Take the left and right leg and elevate them a few inches off the mat. Draw the knees up and into the chest, and then circle them around the midline, and then let them come back about hip width apart distance. And now that we had the knees in, this gives us the best opportunity to get that low back as opposed to the tailbone on your mat. So I want you to kind of feel what the skin's sensation is right now, that touch. And let's keep that touch. We begin to pull the belly button in towards the spine and begin to extend the legs straight. At a point in time where you feel the touch underneath that low back disappear, you've extended too far. So maybe take the legs up to relieve some of the overload on that muscle that we're working right now, or muscles, there's a bunch of them. And if you can't, extend the legs straight, straight, straight while you work to keep that sensation of pressure in that low back as opposed to on the tailbone. Hold on to it for one more breath. And then as you release that, pull the knees up and into the chest. Beautiful. Extend the legs back out, 45-degree angle. Take the hands and open them widely as you straighten the arms up beside the body. Give me a nice proud chest. Let the chin drop into the chest and then pull the back of the head up off the mat. Now try to pull forward with the fingertips, and let's raise and lower the arms and do it faster. Now imagine you're pulling forward with the fingertips as they raise up and down. Oh, big crushing thing on our abs there, right? All right, let's calm that. Pull the knees up and into the chest. Forehead to meet knees, and we're going to rock and roll all the way forward and pedal up with our hands onto the toes. So we're in a deep kneel position. Spine is extending. Woo, love it. Take the butt, pull it to the sky, and we are now folded. As you inhale, extend to a flat back. And as you exhale, keep that spine in extension and drift your hips backwards. Oh, nice. As you inhale, unhinge and sweep the arms to the sky. So that unhinge with a straight leg is really a shortening of the hamstrings. You should feel a nice length there. Let's make Ys out of our arms. People say the obvious joke, why? Well, because. There you go. Now, not so important about getting the arms back. I just want length for the arms, as much length as you can give me so they're almost as straight. If it doesn't have to be as high as mine, just straightness of the arms. Take the big inhale and then sweep towards the right. So we're kind of doing upper spine extension and lengthening through that left side. Come back up center and switch opposite side. It's okay to push the hips out to the side. Let's oscillate between the two, left side and right side. The most important part of this stretch is the length through the side body that you're trying to experience by keeping the arms as long as possible. As we find repetition sometimes allows us to find better range of motion. If you can, try to do this in a more upright position. And then everyone come back center, meet with hands over heart. Beautiful. Let's step sideways to the mat. And give me a sumo-ish type of squat. So the toes are turned out slightly. And then we're going to chop with the hips, bend down. And the knees also coming along for the ride. So we're kind of like in a very modified sumo type position. Wide leg stance, of course. Now, let's take the fingertips and lower them down onto your mat. And you can feel a lot of tension going on through those hips, I hope, and also the inner thigh muscles. So this is really an amazing amount of work. Let's walk the hands forward, but let's take your butt and draw it backwards. Oh, so we're just kind of cantilevering the body, using the arms to offset the weight of the butt going back. Now, stand tall, come back up. Think, oh my goodness, how could that possibly get worse? I will show you. All right, so chop through the hips, bend through the knees, lower the fingertips. Oh, now keeping the fingertips of the left hand on the earth, take the right hand, reach it forward and open the palm to face the sky. Now, Pull that arm long with those fingers. Rotate the thumb to give me as much openness of the palm. As that palm extends forward, try to raise the arm ever so slightly higher. As you release the next breath, bring those fingertips down. And Kirsten's wanting to get out of this position, like everyone else probably. Let's just take a little bit of relief. It's pretty intense. Yeah, I know, I feel it. Chop through the hips, bend through the knees, fingertips earth. Now, hips draw back, cantilever. Give me as much weight bearing, all the weight bearing you can get in the heels. Keeping the spine long, left hand reaches forward. Spiral the thumb to open the palm. As you inhale, raise the left hand. And that's not bending through the elbow, right? That's like lengthening the arm and lifting that whole arm a little higher as you inhale. And as you exhale, return the fingertips, stand back tall. Beautiful. Bring your arms into the side of the body. It's not over, folks. Draw the elbows back, expand through the chest, keeping those elbows drawing back. Chop the hips, bend the knees. Oh no, how could we possibly do this after all of the weights we did yesterday? Lower a little lower. Now, push the hands forward, bring the forearms together, serve it out like it's a big tray of food you want people to eat from. Make it look happy. No one wants to eat miserable looking food. Draw the elbows back, slide them along the rib cage all the way back, and then serve it back out again. Sink those hips a little lower if you can. Forearm to forearm, elbows back, slide it all the way back, slide forward one more time, raise those arms, stand tall as you bring hands over heart. Oh, what are you, a little impatient? Now, take the left hip, push it to the left side, rotate the upper body to the right, come back center, opposite side. Come back center, opposite side, extend the arms out. Hands heart, opposite side, arms extend out. And oscillate between the two sides. Yeah, this is a nice, easy stretch. Now, hands come over heart, step the feet in, turn back to face forward, push your hands to the sky. Big inhale as you exhale, fold, step back, plank. Hover low, hover high, hips up and back to down dog. Take the right leg, lift it to the sky. Oops. And now step that right foot up and in between. We've framed that foot with the hands. Take those toes of both feet, those ones, both of them, separate them nice and widely. So we're up on toes of the back foot. Take a little look back there and make sure your heel hasn't rotated externally. We want it upward, even internally is fine. Keeping that nice length for that foot on the left side. Drive that left heel to the earth. Feel that nice pull and length along that gastroc or calf muscle region. Let's take the right leg and try to straighten it out. As you inhale, extend the spine. And as you exhale, push the heel high, push on the toes, come up with the tippy toes. So the heel's rising high to the sky. Now extend your spine over the front leg, try to straighten it out if you can. And it's just the effort to straighten. That's the lengthening that we're trying to achieve. It's kind of like pulling any adhesion or all adhesion part. We kind of find length in that muscle. I'm going to take a few breaths to allow it to kind of realize a little bit better. And then drive that left heel back to the earth. Step that left foot forward. Inhale, extend to a flat back. Exhale, fold back down. Step the right foot back this time. So we just come into this a little bit differently. We didn't go through down dog. Kirsten goes, good. Toes of both feet widely separated. We're checking the heel on that right foot, aiming skyward. And then we're going to drive that right heel towards the earth. We're going to straighten that left leg or start to work to straighten it. I'm adjusting a little bit. You can actually, modify, put hands on thighs. Some of us may not have as much hip flexion while we're doing hamstring extension. But if you can, try to give me length through the spine, length through that front leg. I'm just talking through your pain. That's why I have all this verbiage. Extend the spine as you inhale. Try to fold in a little deeper. Drive that right heel to the earth as you get all of that left leg extended straight as possible. And then step that right foot forward. Inhale as you extend to a flat back. Exhale, fold back down, unfold, coming skyward with the hands. Good morning. Inhale, extend. Exhale, release the arms. Let's grab a little bit of water.
Cheers.
Cheers. Gone for a nice little swim. Balance for the windows. All right, so let's bring our feet about hip width apart. And we're going to basically chop hips and fold in forward, but we're going to keep the knees straight this time. So last time we did the wide-legged stance. This time we're going to be nice and long with the spine, with just a modest separation, and I'm going to demonstrate from the side. So what we want to try to avoid is this hyperextension, which you'll feel a lot of tension, like, oh. And we want to avoid that by pulling up the belly button. You can see how my low back kind of flattens out a little bit. Now let's take the arms, pull them out beside the body, and then use the fingers to pull the arms long. And what we're really trying to do is pull our shoulder blades off the center of the body or away from the center. Now, take your thumbs, spiral them to the sky. And then as you inhale, try to raise the arms just ever so slightly higher. Again, this is a tension-free zone in exercise. So if you feel it in the neck, you're realizing the work in the wrong spot. And maybe overexerting. So try to avoid that tension. Let's bring the hands down underneath, rotate the palms to face. Let's re-engage by pulling out, flattening out that low back, or really lengthening that lumbar spine. Let's sweep the arms back out, spiral the thumbs to face the sky, separate the fingers widely, keep that chest proud as you lift the arms a little higher. And as you exhale, release back down, palms face, push the hands together this time, and then actively sweep back out, rotating thumbs and lifting as you inhale. And on the exhale this time, stand tall, hands come over heart. Beautiful. Now, grow it long, spine, of course. Grow it long, the neck, of course, keeping it all nice and long. Let's pull the elbows around the ribs, open the palms to face the sky, and then make them into fists with the thumbs pointing out away from the midline of the body, just like our lovely model Kirsten is demonstrating. I'm going to keep the legs long, and we're going to pull the hips backwards. So we're just, again, kind of chopping at the hips, cutting just for that section, the upper body and the lower body, relatively unchanged. As we lower the upper body down, we're going to try to do so with extension in the spine. You're going to feel a little tension forming in the gluteals and maybe even in the hamstrings.
How far do you go?
Now keep lowering down until your body says, I have to compromise. And that compromise is generally the back going into flexion. So I want you to keep the extension and lower, and come all the way back up. We're elevating with the hamstrings, or it should seem like that. Now, it's really the gluteus our gluteals that are allowing us to hip hinge. The hamstrings are really kind of stabilizing the knee as we keep those knees relatively straight. I find a little bit of shortening. There's a little bit of overlap of the hamstrings onto our pelvic girdle. So we find lengthening of that muscle to some extent as we lower down and then come back up. And we are done with that exercise. Push your hands over heart. Take a big inhale. On the exhale, extend the arms forward. Globe. Push. Elbows pull in. Nice and long with the arms. Pull the butt back. As you inhale, raise the arms. As you exhale, lower the arms. Inhale, raise. Exhale, lower. Inhale, raise. Exhale, lower. Bend both knees. We're squatting down. Inhale, raise. We're almost done for the day. Exhale, lower. Inhale, raise. Exhale, lower. One more inhale as you raise. Bring hands over hearts as we exit this and come all the way down onto our mat. We have a few more stretches to do. And then we're all done for our Sunday fun day. I'm gonna grab some more water. My mouth is getting very dry. I don't know if you heard that, but that's because Kirsten, that's because you're talking nonstop. It's good to have that spousal support. Feels good. All right, let's come all the way down onto your mat. Stretch that I like to do that we did yesterday, actually. So not that I like to repeat things, but this is such a good thing. It's worth repeating. I'm going to cross the right leg over to the left. So we have both feet flat, close to the butt on the mat with the legs then crossing. And then we're going to take the right leg and we're going to start to resist with the left leg. But we're going to use the power of that external rotation of that right leg to help us rotate the left leg, which is not necessarily fighting it to the point where you can't affect movement, but it is affecting a little bit of effort to rotate the left knee towards the earth. We're not going to bring it down. So we're going to float it above. We're going to feel a lot of tension because we're basically creating a tug of war between the left and the right side. You should feel that left hip kind of go, oh, take the left hand, reach it to the sky, and then take the left hand and reach it back diagonally. So this is where length matters. Try to grow the left arm away from the body, like it's pulling with the fingers, making so much length along that whole left channel, left side of the body, right over that left hip if you're feeling like I am, which is so awesome in a bad way, but maybe a good way. And then come back up. Unlock the knees, position both feet back down, switch the sides up. Today, we're affecting the change of this with a push. So you're trying to rotate against the pull. So the left leg is pulling down the right leg is trying to resist, but allowing for that rotation and that lovely feeling on the right hip this time. Take the right hand, reach it to the sky, and then sweep that right arm back diagonally. That kind of really amplifies this stretch for me. I hope it's doing it for all of you lovely people. The Vals, the Anns, the Sues, the Marks of the world, enjoying themselves. And then come back up.
What about the Kirstens?
And the Kirstens of the world. I know everyone's got to hear their name. Let's pull the knees up and into the chest. Let's bring the forehead up to meet the knees. Let's rock and roll front to back and come up into a seated position. Awesome. Let's take a nice long spine. Take a nice big breath. Let's bring hands over hearts. And let me thank you for your great participation today. Namaste. Thank you for coming. Oh,
Hello.
Good morning. Oh, good morning. I keep wanting to go
Hello.
and see your faces, but you can't see mine if I do that. So what's new in everybody's world?
You're recording. You're recording.